question 1 of our evaluation, in what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? So at the beginning of our piece of work, we use a countdown of where the party guests are chanting 3, 2, 1 and yell out Happy New Year. This gives the film a premise of uncertainty and mystery, as the audience, they don't really know what's happening already, and it's also ironic because the start of a new year, many people associate it with new chances and a new start, but the protagonist completely strays away from this idea when she uncovers the dead body. We also, so this could be seen as how it conforms to the typical thriller genre in the way that you've got the sense of mystery and uncertainty and tension. Also, the text that we use, the red colour of it implies red and implies blood and death, which is like a typical theme of the thriller. And however, it also plays more into the thriller of the horror genre, the sub-genre of our piece of work, which is how it challenges and develops the fact that it's like links to the engravings on the thriller on the back of the dead victim, also challenges and the normal thriller conventions.
Also, another way we've conformed to the thriller conventions is the voyeurism, with the shot of the shoulder of the main protagonist as she walks down the stairs. We've also included the running water, which we did to really emphasise through the sound effects. And then we've used the irony of the good girl, which we placed by the bedside of her, so then it seems kind of funny in a way because she's got into a lot of trouble. Also, we've used the typical sort of genders and characters of a victim through the female genders of the dead victim plus the protagonist, so it's kind of who is the victim. Also, we played on the psychos and the detective sort of characters to work with the murder sort of scene, because they're also conventions of a thriller. However, we've also used the pronoun he in the trailers, which suggests that the male is the killer, which is quite a typical sort of convention of thriller and also just murders. We also wanted this to make the women look more vulnerable, which also conforms to the conventions of a thriller. The large part of the plot of murder and injury is also linked to the horror genre, which also develops, seeing as we have the subgenre horror. Also, we've combined thriller with horror, as we thought this would work well through the use of blood and gore. This also challenges it in a way. Also, we've kind of done a different style of thriller, as we thought there was quite a lot of action-based thrillers. We wanted to be a bit different, so we wanted to develop the sort of style. Like Taken, we wanted to do something different. Also, the trailers do indicate that our thriller is more horror-based, but through the ghosty breath, this also develops.
When looking into more ways of how our product conforms, we found that through the use of camera shots and angles, one of the extreme close-ups of the protagonist shows vulnerability and fragility, and the typical portrayal of a damsel in distress. We've also conformed to the typical thriller narrative of voyeurism, whilst the match-on action shows the house after the party and suggests that the protagonist is alone with the dead body as of the darkness and the shadows. This is more conforming with the typical thriller genre. The way it develops more through our makeup, this makes it look more realistic, but also more conforming with the subgenre horror, with excessive of blood and injury. As well as this, the fact that the dead body is actually found and you don't see the killing, it's not as gruesome, so this does develops more and also makes it seem a little bit less horror-like. Also, the way that we've got conforming factors is through the black of the costumes of both the victim and the protagonist. This suggests again death, and also a little bit of a link to the V effect, the Verfremdungs effect, in the way that the female protagonist has a black and white, So it suggests that though the white part suggests purity, but also the black suggests that her involvement is questionable. And the victim's costume is inconspicuous, which makes the audience question, why has she been killed herself? She's not, through the flashbacks, the audience believe that she's not a vital character. So this is how it conforms to more media.
We've also think that our conforming and developing comes through the use of light, and we think we've used it effectively through the use of contrast in shadows and bright light, as it could represent the clashing of good and evil. We've also, in flashbacks, included the hazy effects when the protagonist wakes up, and then when we see the dead body, it's in a grayscale to show the real contrast. They've also been used to create tension and suspense, whilst the grey image suggests decay, but also develops more horror genre, as this is our subgenre. Flashbacks and flashing lights also develop to create wild and reckless impression and make the audience feel dazed and if they themselves are in the party. This then develops it as it goes into more of a horror genre. Also, we think we've used music effectively as it conforms as well, as it's used really heavily to create suspense and tension, as this is part of the thriller genre. We've used lots of sound effects, especially the heartbeat, as we want to create loads of tension and show how it's really intense as the heartbeat gets quicker and quicker. You can see how much anxiety there is, and we want the audience to feel this as well, which could also link into the subgenre of horror. Also, we like the contrast in sound, and we've used really loud sounds for the flashbacks to show how wild and crazy it is, and then really quiet in the morning to show how drained she is and how suddenly it's really unexpected, the big situation of a dead body. And then we've used the whole aura of mystery and the unknown right at the end, because when you hear the slam of the door, another sound effect which we think conforms. It really makes the audience question what's happening, who's done it. It really brings lots of questions. And we think this conforms as well, as though it also does develop as it goes into the mystery sort of side of genre. And then also we think the cliffhanger of the slamming of the door develops it as it is once again the subgenre of mystery.